But my mother's plan was high school, the service, el ejército, because she wanted to give back to the country what the country had done for her. So she wanted me to do 4 years, then go to college, then go to law school. That was the plan. That's why when I got left back in the 7th grade, I'm like, her plan's not going to work out because I can't even make it out of the 7th grade. I'm so fucking stupid. So that was her plan. That was it. I knew in high school that I was going to go into the Army. Like, she was going to force me into the Army. Like, there was no way about it. That was her main goal. You're giving this country 4 fucking years for what they did for us. And even though she was a numbers and she owned the bar and she was a drunk, those were her principles. So it's really weird, the rules I had growing up. I couldn't wear my hair a certain way. I couldn't part it. What side do Cubans part their hair on? A Cuban man has to, yes, on the left side. Yeah. If you part it on the right side, that means you're a fag. So every once in a while, I would experiment with my hair, and I'd fucking comb it to the right side, and I'd go to breakfast, and she'd go, "What are you, Rock Hudson?" And I go, "What are you talking about?" She'd go, "Put your hand on the other side before I smack you." Remember in the 70s, it was popular to wear a scarf with a little bow, and you tighten it. You remember?
I was always sweating in Miami.
Okay, so there was, in
the
70s.
There. Yeah.
In the 70s, there was a style.
Yeah.
That you put a scarf around your neck.
Yeah.
And it was just a little circle.
Yeah.
And you took the circle and put the scarves. It was like a hippie movement for a while. I'll never forget the first time I put one of those things on and went to the living room. She just looked up and she was like, "What are you, a fag? Take that off right now. You're embarrassing me." You know what I'm saying? Like shit like that. Like it wasn't allowed. Like if you were laying on the floor, I was not allowed to cross my mother's body. So she's laying on the floor on her stomach watching TV. Cubans are not allowed to cross the body because that means that in a cemetery. You have to walk around them. You couldn't say the word cancer in my house. My mother would spit on herself. So whenever somebody would say cancer, she'd go, and she'd spit on herself, and you're like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You know, it was just so many basic little things. And I forget half of them. Like, I forget 3/4 of them now. But there were just so many fucking rules I had that were ridiculous.
I mean, I just like you, I love my parents, and I'm grateful for them because everything that I am today is because of them, all the sacrifices and everything. But there was a lot of funny shit, going on. It's like when we first got to Miami in 61, my dad, first thing he got was a TV. With his first paycheck, he started on credit. Back in the day, old Cubans had credit, and credit cards and stuff. And we got a TV. And so on Sunday, whenever football came on television, and my mom's, we didn't have football in Cuba, American football, and she sees like these guys wearing like tights and they're close to each other, and one guy's got his hands underneath the other guy's leg to grab a ball, and she goes, no quiero que vea, I don't want you to watch this. This is wrong. So there was no football in my house. That's while I was living with
all those men with tight pants on, touching each other. Nah,
no,
we don't want that. I could just see it. There was the machismo was so high, even with moms. Moms dreaded it because moms knew the torture that kids were going to get if they, Cuba in the 50s and 40s was very anti-gay. And when Fidel took over, it was even more anti-gay.
I think pretty much the whole world was pretty anti-gay back then,
For Cubans, I've read stories of, there was a time in Cuba where it was such a disgrace that the neighbors would talk the parents into taking the child shark fishing and throwing them off the boat. In the Celia Cruz story, they killed her brother or her nephew because he was gay. It was a different time in Cuba to be gay. It wasn't like flamboyant. But Rock Hudson went down there every weekend and was gay in Cuba. And they accepted him. Marlon Brando, there's stories about Marlon Brando going down to Cuba and being gay, And I remember being a kid and hearing Cubans telling me about different personalities. And I go, how the fuck do you know about this? And they go, because when I was a kid, they would come to Cuba. And we were kids. We would follow him around. When Michael Jackson, remember when Michael Jackson put the kid outside the window? And 10,000 people outside?
Yeah.
That's what would happen in Cuba when like a celebrity would go to a hotel.
Yeah.
The Nacional or something like that. People would get the word around town. Who's ever in town, whoever was big at that time, Sinatra. When Sinatra was at the Nacional or whatever, there were fucking 200 Cuban skinny chicks outside waiting to suck his dick.
Yeah.
He would pick them and choose them,
Yeah.
If you read the book of Ella Nocturne, it talks about him being in Cuba a lot and his sexual fucking prowesses that he had down there. That motherfucker was going crazy.
Yeah. Recently, this man, Walter Mercado.
Yes, died.
Yeah, he passed away,
2 days ago.
Yeah, and, he was like a big... huge presence in Miami in the 60s, I mean, you took a look at the guy and we, all the, we always make fun of him, because everything, his mannerism, the way he dressed,
Amor.
Yeah.
Más amor.
And it's obviously his sexual orientation was not in question, but when they announced, the local Los Angeles anchor person, was talking about his background and everything, announcing his passing, and then he mentioned that his lifestyle, his sexual preference was never mentioned, that he never came out. And I'm thinking, did he have to come out? No, of course he didn't have to come out. It's obvious, and who cares, really? Another thing, going back to that, when I was a kid, I was into music, and you were a kid, and you were going like, wow, I tried the trumpet first, and I tried trombone, and I was just going down the instruments, until eventually I got a guitar. But in between that, I thought maybe piano, this sounds great. I can play rock and roll, and then I can play, some classical music. Jazz is music, And my mom would say, oh no, the piano is not for men to play. Because she knew a lot of, gay piano players in Cuba, and she thought that the instrument was going to turn you gay if I play.
It's crazy.
Was it a Cuban culture thing, or was it a Catholic thing, or a mix, or like what do you think?
I think it was reference that she had, because one of my aunts was actually a casino lounge singer in Miami. I'm sorry, in Cuba, in Havana. All those all those hotels, they had casinos in Havana. That was the normal thing. So the guy that would accompany her was gay. And she had like 2 or 3 piano players that would accompany my aunt, and they're all gay. So my mom's reference at the time was like, well, all these guys that play piano, they're gay. So the instrument must turn you gay. Don't play piano.
We're going in like fucking Marines, you understand me?
Welcome to church, motherfucker.